How we doing? I don't think I've ever done a live like this on here, so bear with me while I figure out basically how it's all working, because I haven't got a clue. What do we know other than Arsenal are bottling the league? What else is there to know? Interesting watching Arsenal's demise in that game last night. Total control of the game. Complete and utter total control of the game in the first half, that is. And then Wolves decided to turn up. So, yeah, interesting one. And now, if, and it's a big if Man City win their game in hand, and if Man City beat Arsenal, then maybe they win the league. But it's a big if. And I'm not being funny. None of us really know the answer to that. So we shall see. Just bear with me one sec. Let me get going on this platform. A couple of platforms on the go at the same time. This is how new I am to it all. Right. There we go. How are we doing, everyone? I hope we're all good. Yes, I'm still sporting the beard. In case anyone notices, the beard is still here for a little while longer yet. It will be leaving me soon, in the sense of I will be shaving it off soon and going back to clean shaven, which, as I say, I haven't done that for a while. So that's something for me to look forward to in my old age, getting rid of my beard. How good is that? Jumping on here. So I've got TikTok, I've got YouTube. We're all going, we're all live, we're all talking. Let me know your thoughts on last night's game. Arsenal, are they actually going to throw the towel in? I mean, it's completely out of their hands. Well and truly out of their hands. To have the lead that they had, to mess up 2 games, well, more than 2 games in a row, but they've obviously hit a stumbling block against Brentford, stumbling block against Wolves. Are they actually going to lose the title? Because if Man City, and it's big ifs, but if Man City win their game in hand, and if Man City beat Arsenal, they win the league. I mean, assuming they win all their other games, of course, but we are quickly running out of games. And from such a strong position with a squad that they've got, I firmly believe that Arsenal had enough to get this over the line. It's going to be one hell of a game when they play Man City. That's for sure. One hell of a game. And I'm not quite sure which way that'll go, because Man City are stuttering themselves. So, as I say, we're at that stage in the season now where we just don't know what's going to happen. And it could go either way. And if, I say, I want to know what other people's thoughts are. Are Arsenal done? Is this showing the immaturity of that squad? Can they get it over the line? Because there's still a lot for Man City to do. There's still a lot for Man City to do. We're talking about winning all their games, because they're going to have some tough games. But I say, Man City have been there, seen it, done it. A lot of them have been there, seen it, done it. Arsenal haven't. Arsenal haven't done it. I'm not sure Arsenal will do it. Gray, I think I'll just do it. I'm not so sure they will, but I'm not as convinced as some people. Some of my friends who are Arsenal fans are all jumping all over it. Yeah, we're still in the bag. We're still 5 points clear. Yeah, you're 5 points clear on paper. Don't get me wrong. I'd far rather have a 5 point lead than be chasing a 5 point lead. But, it's crazy. Is what it is. Ollie pushed my trolley. Yeah, always remember that name. What's your opinion on the Vinny? Listen, it's an odd one. It's strange, because I came across some, and I'm going to use the term racism. I came across some racism recently, within the last 48 hours, from a good friend of mine, as in he was subjected to some racism. And it made my blood boil. I can honestly say it made my blood boil. Are people not past this yet? and I don't want to go on a tangent about it, but there's just no place for it in sport. There is, in my opinion, there is no place for it in sport. And I say that, and I've got family members of mine who are from Trinidad. I've been brought up differently to know. I know it's an easy thing to say. I don't see colour, but I don't. I never really have. So for me, I don't grasp how it's still in today's world. We're in 2026 and this is going on. We know it's going on, and it's just bad. In my opinion, it's bad education, poor education. I don't think the repercussions are enough to really stamp it out. And what are the right repercussions? We're talking about ill education. What my friend was subjected to was a 17-year-old calling him a name, which, like I say, when he told me, he was disappointed. I was really disappointed. And I cannot believe that in today's world, we are still having to deal with this problem. Well, mate, and as I say, and I talk to a lot of my black friends about this in terms of racism, that it goes both ways in the sense of there is racism both ways. I know for a living, sorry, I was just reading a comment there. Gray, what do you do for a living? I'm a coach. I know for a fact that black people say things about white people in and amongst black people. I know that. They don't say it out loud. White people seem to think it's okay to say it out loud. To say it at all is wrong, but in the sense of a white child will say, like he did to my friend, said something to my friend out loud in front of a group of people, like that's big, brave. It's pathetic. It's outrageous is what it is. Luckily, my friend is extremely calm about it. And is managing to deal with it perfectly fine, going about his business as he would do, I've spoke to him at length and we've discussed immaturity. We've discussed lack of education of said individual. There was a moment that was actually, I chuckled because there was a moment the person responsible for this 17-year-old actually sort of showed my friend the pathway that this child's on, because he actually responded with a comment that I, again, took offense to, even though I wasn't there, but I heard about it. I've taken offense to, and I think it's wrong what this other guy said. But I can see where this 17-year-old is learning from, so to speak. So, yeah, it's odd. It's bizarre. But the Vinny Jr. situation and, people hiding behind things, covering their mouth. It's been going on now for a long time in football. Players doing this, managers doing this. I don't grasp. Do they think other players are watching TV of what they're saying is going to impact that game? Do managers not want to be seen saying what they're saying? I don't follow that. That makes no sense to me. How a manager on a match day during a match feels the need to do this while they're talking to their players, because no matter what you're saying there isn't someone on the other bench sitting there watching you talk. Yeah, Ollie, push my trolley. Assume it is lip reading. Of course, it's about lip reading, but we're talking about in a game. If I'm in a game and I'm managing a game and my player comes running over to me, if I've got 1,000 TV monitors all over me and I've got to talk to a player, I'm going to talk to a player because that's my job. What I'm not going to do is then turn around and do it like this because I'm worried about what people see what I'm saying. Because I'm clearly saying something constructive to my teammate, to my player. That said, if you're saying something and you're swearing and you don't want to be seen swearing, get over yourself is what I'll say to that. Just completely get over yourself. No one cares. If you're covering up because you don't want the opposition to see what instructions you're giving to the to your player, then again, we're assuming that there's someone sitting there saying something on the opposition's bench, watching a monitor, listening to the monitor, and to see what's being said. Dean McDoe 23. I don't disagree with you. It's clearly been said. I do not disagree with you. We've seen it a lot in Spanish football, in particular. There seems to be a lot of racism in Spain, in Spanish football. You know, we've only got to go back a few years when Saka and Jude Bellingham, they've all had racism chants made towards them whilst playing for England. This is, by the way, they've all had this issue. But I say, go back to why is this happening? Is more to the point. How does this happen? In what world does someone think that that's acceptable? Does someone think that that's okay? And I think that's what I get stuck on. I get really stuck on someone believing that it's okay to say racist remarks to people. And like I say, it goes both ways. This isn't just me saying white people can't say stuff to black people. Black people can't say stuff to white people and to people of Asian and ethnic origin. You can't. Why do we bring skin color into it? A person is a person. And I say, I've always struggled to understand this area of life because, I say, it's just not something I've really listened to in that sense because I've not had that around me. Racism exists. We know that. It doesn't exist in my world in a sense of it's not something that I use against someone, and I've never had it used against me. So, but I'm not to saying that, you know, people or black people in particular, because they're the ones who seem to be subjected to a lot of racism, they do receive it, and it's wrong. Is what I'm saying. It's what I'm trying to say. So, do I think that was said? Yes, I do. The Vinny Jr. incident, yes, I do. But it's again, it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable behaviour from an individual to go down that route. And where sport is concerned, we're talking about competitor versus competitor. Like, it's a physical sport. Where do words come into it? They don't. And that's, again, something that I struggle when it comes to sport. Like, you're acting like a child. And in this one, a poorly educated child. So, yeah, it's just odd is what it is. An odd situation, an odd scenario that we find ourselves in to have this happening. You know, years ago, we had this with Luis Suarez, if you remember. That all died down and went away quietly. All died down and went away quietly. You know, we had the issue with John Terry. Again, brushed under the carpet, gone. I'll say that out loud about John Terry purely on the basis that it was against Anton Ferdinand. Anton Ferdinand was playing for my beloved club, Queen's Park Rangers. So, yeah, it's these incidents happen and they're forgotten about, brushed under a carpet. It's like the only way to stop these things from happening is for there to be real repercussions. And you know, I'm not a rule maker. I don't sit there and make the rules up or anything like that. But I'll dip into politics here. If we're talking about how do you stop illegal immigrants? Well, you take away everything that's available to them when they arrive. There's nothing here for them. And you say you're going where, you know, you're not welcome. Or you put the Navy out in the channel and you stop these illegal boats coming over. You know, they're going to stop coming on that basis because there's nothing here for them. If you, in football, turn around to someone, and I've said this to players in my teams over the years, if I hear one person use a racist remark in any capacity, because to me it's not even banter amongst friends, but you won't play for my team ever again because it's totally unacceptable behaviour. That is me trying to educate a player that there's just no room for it in sport. But the FA or the FAs who are in charge of all of this, why don't they do something similar? Why aren't they actually basically hitting the hard line, making someone a scapegoat as such? Setting a precedent is the term. Why don't they set a precedent for this type of behaviour? Why don't they try and avoid people from doing this as they're talking to each other? Why don't they bring something out that says we can't do that? It makes everything, well, put it this way. If they're not going to, you can't force someone to not do that. But if you don't want to be seen, I mean, could you imagine the memes going around at the moment, like people just doing this and what they're pretending to say to people, like what people make up that they're saying to each other? I mean, there's loads that have done the rounds, not in terms of racism, but there's loads that have done the rounds on other things, you know, mainly jokes, that teammates talking to each other and saying silly jokes. But if you've got nothing to hide in any capacity, why would you cover your mouth? If you're worried about lip readers, get a grip. Literally, get a grip. What is wrong with you? You're playing sport. Get on with it. You're managing sport. Get on with it. All of this, I get it. Sometimes it's to make sure that person can hear because it's noisy in loud stadiums. I understand all of that. But it just seems to be happening a little bit too much for me, for my liking anyway. So, yeah, all fun and games. Amandeep Dari, I'm praying Leeds stay up. Haha. Oh, mate, I hope you're right. They seem to have, pulled together some decent results lately. So there's no reason why they can't. I think I'm not even a West Ham fan, but I'm kind of like cheering on West Ham at the minute, hoping that they get themselves out. And I make no secret of it. I don't like Spurs. So I would love, and I mean love, if Spurs went down. Could you imagine? I mean, I'm a Queen's Park Rangers fan. I would love to visit Spurs with my QPR team. I'd love that. I'd love nothing more than to go to that stadium with QPR and laugh at Spurs. Because to me, that has got to go down. Their last 5 seasons have got to go down as some of the worst seasons in Premier League history. Forest are in trouble. I know they've made the manager change. I'm not so sure how that will work out. Well, both of them made manager changes, but I'm not sure how that will work out. I would just love to see West Ham stay out, Spurs go down. Debate in Leeds Circle whether you'd win the FA Cup and get relegated or not win it and stay up. You want to stay up, don't you? It's the biggest league in the world. It's the biggest league in the world. You want to stay up. I mean, as you're saying, you don't think you got a chance. I mean, at the moment, Wolves are down. And then right next to them is Burnley. I think the 3rd spot will be taken, and I think it'd be brilliant. I think the 3rd spot will be filled by Nottingham Forest or Spurs, personally, is what I think. That's what I think. Oh, dear me. Sorry, there's a restriction going on about gifting. Not that I care about that, but it's flashed up on my screen. Weird. Anyway, that's that gone. Part of the reason why I've jumped on here is I'm looking to, so I've quite neglected YouTube. Whilst I'm chatting on TikTok here, I'm also live on YouTube. And I need to increase my subscribers on YouTube just to allow me to have full access to mobile lives. And the reason why I want mobile lives is, as my season comes to an end with my under 14s, we become under 15s. I want to start almost like a vlog with them, and teach them some media training, and doing lives on YouTube with them, and like live Q&As, live training sessions, live games on YouTube. But I also want to flick it around for my futsal stuff and do lives on there. So anybody that is watching this, is listening to this, please do go over at some point in your day, flick onto YouTube and just put @ProLover in and hit that subscribe button. It's free, as we all know. But it does me a massive favor. I need about another 70 followers. So that's going to allow me to get up to 1,000 followers on there. So from there, I can then do everything I want to do. So that would be good. Ross, oh my God, how you been, mate? Not spoke to you in ages. Scottish League still, but Scottish League is a snooze fest, mate. Absolute snooze fest. The fact there's a 3rd team involved in the title race is, woohoo! A 3rd of the league could win the league. Wow, incredible. Scottish football is just an absolute snooze fest. So much so that you've pulled out Oxlade Chamberlain to go up there. I mean, I might as well dust my boots off and go up there. I'll even have a shave and go and play out there. Saying that, I look more like Braveheart. I'd fit in. So yeah. Of which I can't wait to get rid of this. This is my new 6 winter look. It's going. It's my Santa look, isn't it, really? But yeah, good to see you again, Ross, on here. Hope you're well, mate. Keep him well. Anyone who's just jumped on, what's your thoughts on Arsenal? Are they going to fold? Is that it? Is that their title challenge done? 2 games in a week has just been hell for them. So yeah. I look like your dad and he's 52. Mate, I'm not being funny. I looked at myself this morning and I went, wow, you look old. Wow, you look old. But I'm actually worried about shaving this off now because it's made my chin is like here. So it's an inch below my chin. So I'm thinking, like, does my head actually look tiny? Have I got like a little peanut head or something? I suppose we'll find out when I shave it off in about 2 weeks' time. So yeah, we'll see. Ollie pushed my trolley. Being a Liverpool fan at the moment is more torture. Well, I don't know. I quite like Liverpool. I think they seem to be turning a corner again. Salah's starting games, playing 90 minutes, getting goal involvements. Ekatike, I mean, you give him the ball, he'll score goals. Well, he's definitely an upgrade from Darwin Núñez. I think we can all agree on that, where Liverpool are concerned. Wirtz looks like he's actually stepping up a little bit, starting to show a bit more of his personality on the pitch as well, scoring goals, chipping in on that front, which is great. So yeah, it's I'm quite a bit of a fan of Liverpool at the minute. I'm not going to lie. Ross, stop it. I look cracking. You look cracking though. Thanks, mate. That's really kind of you. I don't feel it. Isaac is apparently back at the end of March too. Yes, exactly. So listen, we're talking about Liverpool not having a good season, but yet they're fighting for the top 4. You know, Man United, they've had a massive resurgence. They're also fighting for top 4. So that's an interesting area to look at, top 4. Newcastle seem to be well out of it. They've had a torrid run of results. Obviously, last night they were unbelievable against Timbuktu. Because I'm not being funny, that weren't a football team they were playing. So yeah, Aston Villa are there. Brentford are 7th. So that itself is interesting. So it is. I think I just heard my front door go. I'm not sure though. If it's important, they'll knock again, right? And I've got a doorbell. Oh, there we go. 2 secs, callers. You can come with me. Let's see what's going on. Hello, mate. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Cheers. See how I like that, man? I haven't got. Well, it's not even for me, it's for my wife. That can go away. What do I need that for? Yes. Sorry. I mean, I took my phone with me, but left my other device here, which has got my YouTube on it. That's good, wasn't it? I've never seen us be this bad with injuries, like 8 injuries at once. Yeah, but that's football nowadays. That is football. Injuries are part of the game. You're going to get injuries in your squad. It's how you deal with them. Liverpool's squad has had a massive overhaul, really, in the last couple of years. You know, lots of people leaving and coming and going and so forth. So it's an interesting time for Liverpool, but they're still, you know, not having a great season, but they're still up there. You know, they could still get Champions League football next year. So, Ross, I'm going to Preston v Blackburn tomorrow night. Oh, my God, I couldn't think of anything worse, mate. Blackburn are terrible. I've watched them beat us the other day at QPR. They're a terrible football team. And Preston, wow. I mean, yeah. Two for me, not very good football teams. Put it that way. Preston and Blackburn. 2 particularly bad football teams in today's world days. As far as football that's being played. Who needs a phone voice when you have an answer the door voice? Yeah, exactly. That's me, Ollie. That is me all over. Oh, hello there. How are you? Oh, great to see you. Yes. Injuries are part of football nowadays. Kilmarnock have 11 injuries. Oh, mate, you want to talk about injuries? Let's talk about Queen's Park Rangers. We're literally there. We're on the periphery of getting into the playoffs. Literally periphery of getting into playoffs. Bang! They get injured. All the wingers start going down. They're like dropping like flies. Brush. Everyone's injured. It's crazy. That said, in the Championship, we play a lot of games. In the Premier League, I was only saying this to my mate the other day. It's a mad world we live in, right? No, Ross, QPR are here to stay, mate. Now, in the world we live in, you get to the top, right? And things get easier. Things get easier for you. Like in the sense of, you get in the Premier League, bosh, there's your 38 games. Yeah, you have your FA Cup, your League Cup. You might get, if you're in Europe, you get those games as well, right? But Championship, 46 games, an extra cup to play in as well with the old St. John's Trophy or whatever it's called nowadays, LDV Vans Cup. You're playing 3 times every 7 days. I can understand championships teams having bigger squads. I can understand them having more injuries because they play a load more games. Teams in the Premier League that aren't in Europe, and aren't successful. Let's just say they have 4 cup games. Let's say they're lucky to get through in the League Cup 1 round, lucky to get through 3rd round of the FA Cup. Not all of them do, as we know. Sorry, Palace fans, but they're looking, and without you're looking at like 42 games. So you're in the top division. You're the top earners. You're the top performers, and you play the least games. How does that make sense? I don't get it. I think, and I want to start a movement. Who's with me? Why don't we start a movement? I think the Premier League should consist of 24 teams. That way they play their 46 games a year. I think Europe should only be I think England leagues should only be represented by the top 2, as in first and second. They're a true reflection of the best in England has to give. The fact that we had Spurs in, they won a cup in the European Cup against Man United, teams that finished like 17th and 16th in the Premier League. I mean, ridiculous, just ridiculous how that works out. I think there needs to be a rethink, and I'm all for a rethink as to who gets into Europe, the league, the structure of the league, how many teams in the Premier League. It's the best league in the world. Let's make it the best league in the world by having the biggest league in the world. Do you think players ever get injured or just some time off? Oh, mate, I can tell you now, players get time off. I'll never forget. I had insurance. It's so long ago now. They ain't coming after me now. But I remember I was going on holiday, and I had a holiday booked with the boys. I think where was he going? Either Valaraki or Iron Apple, one of the two. Like in our off season, and I knew on my insurance policy, if I got signed off with a hamstring injury, I'd get about 750 quid. So bosh, I've done that. I got the physio sign me off with a hamstring injury. It went off to my insurance. Bosh, got the claim. Happy days. There's 750 quid in the pocket for me holiday. I'm not saying players do that because obviously they're talking about massive sums. But, mate, some of them just chuck the towel in and don't really fancy it. If you're injured, you're injured. I get that. I'm all for that. Take the time off, have a rest, get back to being fit. But it's some players who are carrying niggles all the time. Palmer, for example, carrying a niggle. Why are you playing football then? If you're playing football, you're not injured, are you? You're getting on with it. But you can't sit there and when things don't go your way, he's carrying a knock and this, that, and the other. I've not been on here yet since Liam Rossini took the position at Chelsea. And yeah, he's done great in terms of results and all the rest of it. I still make no secret. I don't see that lasting very long. But I'd love to be proved wrong because Liam's a good guy. But yeah, do I think players just chuck it in now and again? Absolutely. And they do it at all age groups, all levels of football. When a player's chucking a towel in and don't really fancy it for whatever. I mean, listen, Jack Grealish over Christmas, was he ill? As if. I think sometimes people just think us viewers, us supporters, us fans are just thick. When there's actually some of us that have really played the game to a decent level, have seen what it's like inside these places. And it's obvious, is what I'll say. Obvious to some people, not obvious to all. But yeah, I don't think there's always big injuries, or ongoing niggles. You've got an ongoing niggle. Why don't you get it sorted? Because we're talking about a small amount of time in your career to basically enjoy the rest of your career. Just take some time off and get surgery if you need surgery, if it's that bad. But I'm not so sure that it is that bad, basically. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing. And certainly in today's world of medical science and the way first team managers have to basically manage their team after the physios have told them what they can and can't do. That's say, the last time I came in here, I talked about how sports science and medical staff are now literally running the teams and who can play and who can't play. No physio would ever tell me whether I can play. I know my body. I know if I can play. All this malarkey, oh, he can only manage 60 minutes. Who are you trying to kid? Like, it's the same like mentality of if I've got a player that's injured in my team, if they don't come training because they're injured, but they turn up on the Sunday to play, they will start. There's no point me bringing a player on to see how long they last. Start them from the start, sub them off if they don't last. If they should be a starter, that is basically. That's just my method. That's my thought process. All this, and I know that there is actual method to the madness, but at the same time, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like all this, he can only play for 60 minutes and all that jazz. I just don't get that. It's me, Spencer. I used to watch. Well, you're watching now, son. See where we are. Alrighty then. Good. Well, listen, I was just jumping on here. I was going to stay around for a little bit longer, but I was just jumping on here to see who's about, who's doing what. Obviously, you've started to see that I've started posting a few things again on my channel, which is great. So please do keep liking and all that jazz and showing some support. I appreciate that. I really, really do. Same with these lives when I jump on here, people that like it and all the rest of it. It's really helpful. So thank you so much. But like I said, halfway through all of this, I do need YouTube's followers. So please do me a huge favor and look at YouTube at some point, type in @ProLovel and try and help get me to 1,000 people, 1,000 subscribers, because that's going to allow me to start looking at setting up something a little bit more substantial on YouTube. So yeah, I'm trying to manage my social media a little bit better. I know I've got loads of followers on Instagram and Facebook, and they're platforms that work really well for me. TikTok did work well, doesn't seem to work well. The best thing about TikTok is actually doing this. I find this really therapeutic, coming on here and doing this. And I say I'm going to start using YouTube to do something similar as well. So I want to be able to use multiple channels. I want to be able to use my YouTube correctly. And at the same time, give you guys some showcase into stuff that you probably wouldn't see all the time. In terms of football, and get some content out that, you know, I think is of interest. Not so much, not for everyone, but as I say, that said, it's not just me doing skills and me doing dribbling activities. I got told the other day that someone's messaged me to say, "Oh, I can't." It really annoys me how good you are at football. Yeah, I'm good, and I know that. I'm confident enough to say that. But what I will say is I love doing these videos. I use it as a library for me. I think I've said this before, but I use it as a library for me. So if I'm going into a session and I'm unsure what sort of ball mastery I want to do, what technical training I want to do, then I will have a quick look on there to see, have a look to see what dribbling exercises I should do. It's almost like my own little video library for that. But it's also great for parents who want to train their own kids or give their kids some inspiration to do some stuff and stuff that you can do on your own and learn for yourself. You know, I'm fortunate enough people pay me to come to my sessions to learn this stuff, but it's out there in the domain. It's out there in the public domain. A lot of the exercises that kids can do on their own if they're incentivized to do it themselves. If they push themselves to do it, they will. So that, you know, there's a couple of reasons why I post what I post. I don't tend to post training activities, but again, that's something I'm looking to do in the new season on YouTube. I want to be able to push that out and start recording some of my sessions live so people can see those and ask questions about those sessions, and I can sit there and actually discuss what went well, what didn't go well, because I'm quite a reflective coach anyway. I like critiquing myself and seeing where I can improve. Certainly my delivery is something I'm very harsh on myself about in sessions. I think about what I'm going to say, where I might have to say it, when I might have to say it, etc. How I can use guided learning and question and answer with the team and try and get them to improve their understanding all round. So I want to be able to put that out there on YouTube so people can actually see that. It's also helpful for me because then I can look back at my own sessions rather than going through my memory. I can look back at the session and go, what went well, what could have been better, and things like that. So yeah, that's, let's say, the whole, sorry about that rant, but that's the whole reasoning for me wanting to have multiple platforms running, and coming on here today to try and see if anybody would be so kind to go off to YouTube, search at Pro Level and hit subscribe to get me to what I need to get to. Because once I'm there, I can really open the door and show you guys some proper stuff, rather than just me dribbling around, me doing some ball mastery and that sort of stuff. I can actually show you some physical activities that I do with my teams. And to be fair, I mentioned it last night at training to my under 14s. They were buzzing about it. Like, well, we're going to be live on YouTube. I was like, yeah, we can do. No reason why we can't. And that's the whole conversation I've got to have with them and their parents at some point, because obviously I can't just go and film a load of kids and put them on YouTube. I need consent from parents. So that's something in the pipeline, should we say, of plans to do that. But yeah, it's something that I'm keen to do. So anyway, back onto Premier League, and now Arsenal are just actually throwing it all away. Spencer, I'm unsure about Southgate and Man United. I don't know. Have they got the patience for someone like Southgate? Listen, I don't get why they're not just saying, look at the impact Michael Carrick has had at Man United in the short space that he's been there. Why are we not focusing on Michael Carrick at the minute? But he's in there till the end of the season. We've still got, 11 games to go. Just let him get on with it. And let's not discuss a Man United manager. Let's be respectful to Michael Carrick and the job that he's got in hand and see what happens at the end of the season. I think Man United we want success now. I think they're a long way from that. But these last few games, just to see a bit of fighting spirit, just to see a bit of raw, I'd say nostalgia, Man United gameplay where they're running forward, they're counter-attacking, they're attacking in numbers, they're showing great energy to get up the pitch. That for me is awesome. And if you've got a manager who's done that, who's installed that so quickly and getting the best out of these players, why on earth are we even talking about Southgate? Just my thoughts, really. But I don't run Man United. Man United wants success now, so they'll try and bring in a bigger name and hope that they can be successful. For Man United, anything in the top six is successful, considering where they were last year and how many managers they burnt through and players that they've brought in. Look at some of the signings they've made have been horrendous. And some of the decisions made at the club. I genuinely feel sorry for Kobe Mainoo. Genuinely feel sorry for Kobe Mainoo. He's an outstanding young footballer, needs to be nurtured in the right way, and he's had a year of neglect at Man United. If I was employed, I'm not, I'm self-employed, but if I was employed and my employer neglected me the way Kobe Mainoo was being neglected, I think there would be a court case on its hands. Because you just can't do that to someone in the workplace, how he's been neglected in that Man United team. But let's focus on the positives. We didn't quite get the big geezer to have his hair cut, but I'm sure at some point that will happen. Do people realise how hard it is to win five? Oh, that looks weird, doesn't it? Do people realise how long it takes to win? How hard it is to win 5 games in a row? Do you know we've not done it at QPR since 2004? 2020 years ago was the last time we won 5 games in a row. So all this, we're the longest, I think, in the Football League at QPR. Yeah, we hold that record holders. Yeah, mate. So yeah, we're giving loads of airtime to a bloke who's not had his hair cut. I'm sitting here bald. I'm going to grow my hair until QPR win 5 games in a row. It won't be much longer than this, but am I going to get loads of airtime? Hair time. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? So yeah, I've gone off on a tangent. I've even lost myself. You know what I mean? I don't know. Man United, Southgate, no point. Absolutely no point. They might as well just get through this season, see what's going on, see who's around, who's available. If they do want to change from Carrick, I think that'd be silly to change from Carrick. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. As I say, it's quite fun really because Spurs are going to be looking for a new manager as well in the summer. I'm pretty sure Nottingham Forest are going to be looking for a new manager in the summer. One of those two might be going down if West Ham continue their resurgence of form, which I hope they do for my own son's sake, who's upstairs at the moment gaming, and my brother, who's also a West Ham fan. So yeah, I hope West Ham get out and one of those two clubs go down, because I'm not being funny. Nottingham Forest, I'm not really bothered by. The only thing I liked about Nottingham Forest was Brian Clough, and other than that, I'm not really that bothered. Stuart Pearce when he was there as well. Maybe Mark Crosley. Quite like listening to his stories. But yeah, other than that, I'm not really that bothered about Nottingham Forest. Spurs. Yeah, Spurs. No one likes Spurs today. Who likes Spurs? No one in their right mind likes Spurs. If I keep saying it enough, people might actually start believing it. But yeah, I always find it funny. I have kids turn up at my futsal sessions and they're wearing their Spurs kits, bold as brass, loving life. I've got my Spurs kit on. Look at that. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. Got my Spurs kit. Yeah, blinding. Got your Spurs kit. Put a bib on. And they look at me like, have I got to wear a bib? They've got a black Spurs kit on. And I'm asking them to put a black bib on. And they go, have I got to put a bib on? Absolutely. Do anything to hide that. That's why I say anyway. Yeah. Plus, I'm doing it for equality. I want everyone to wear a bib. If one person's wearing a bib, we're all wearing bibs. Because that's the world we live in, people. But yeah, the Spurs thing would be great, wouldn't it? Could you imagine? European finalists, European winners to relegated? I mean, a Spurs fan could never, ever live that down. You just couldn't live. I mean, the last time something like that happened was Leeds United. Who were Champions League semi-finalists and then got relegated 2 years in a bounce. So, that could be the best story ever. Could you imagine? It'd be a case of last one out, turn the lights off, because every player they haven't got relegation clauses, so therefore they'd be stuck on massive wages. They'd then have to sell them. They'd have to sell them at reduced prices because no one's going to pay these inflated prices for a player who's got a team relegated. So yeah, it would be absolutely comedy gold. Albie, how you doing, mate? You good? Good to see you on here as well, bud. Yes, I have grown out my beard, but not long, and it goes. Only a couple more weeks, and it's getting the chop. Is what's happening to that. So yeah, thanks for everybody who's liking this live, who shared this live as well. I appreciate that. All helps, doesn't it? Every little helps in terms of publicising people. No harm in hitting that share button, is there? There's no harm in hitting that like button. So appreciate it. I've been watching lives lately, other people's lives, and just smashing the like button, only because it's a feel-good factor. Is what it is. It's just a massive feel-good factor. I like, to say, even now, just seeing little hearts just go bang, 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 bang up, it makes you feel good. So thank you for that. So yeah, but anyway, on that note, I am going to jump. I'm looking for something to watch on Netflix. I ain't out till later. So I'm going to go and have a scrummage on Netflix and see what there is to watch. Thanks to everybody that has liked. Thanks to everybody that is following this live, my channel. Thanks to everybody that has gone over to YouTube and clicked subscribe. Like I say, I am trying to grow that side of my platforms so that I can start doing some more live stuff on there. So I really appreciate that. I hope everyone's well. So my friends who are in the middle of Ramadan, I hope you're all having a great day. And for my players who are also coming training tonight, I look forward to seeing them, because they didn't come last night because it was the start of Ramadan. So I look forward to seeing them tonight. Obviously, they'll have eaten by then, which is great for them. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, whatever it is you've got planned. Thanks for all your likes, your shares, your follows, and thanks for those that have gone over to YouTube to follow me there as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace.